Happy New Year, guys! It is Blood Moon Bobby here, coming at you with another Nintendo-related video. So, hopefully you guys had a really happy holidays and all that good stuff. Just as my Blood Moon icon has had. So, yeah. So, it's funny, with coming up with ideas for videos, I didn't really find too many tech and cartoon-related news stories as of the last couple of days. In terms of the tech field, I know companies are gearing up for CES, and even though, yes, some of them are announcing things like, oh, LG is going to show off this certain kind of speaker at CES, I wanted to save all those kinds of videos for CES themselves, so that way I can have one comprehensive video talking about each of the brands I want to cover. So, and in case you guys are wondering, for CES 2018, I'll be covering NVIDIA's conference, LG's, Sony's, and Intel's. So far, that's the list I currently have. If any of you guys know about any other companies doing live streams, please let me know. I'm pretty sure Qualcomm and Samsung are supposed to hold conferences. I know Samsung announced that they're going to, but they didn't announce if they're going to do a live stream. So, yeah, so these dates and times may change depending on the schedule. Because last year, when I was still under Kumite World, when I did the CES conferences, I heard about the ones like Qualcomm's one super last minute. I was watching CNET Live, and they said, oh, we're going to take you to the CES conference for Qualcomm. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to do that this year, since this year I'm planning to live stream the conferences from the company's websites. You know, obviously, I don't think I can take it from CNET. So, if any of you guys know any companies are doing their own live streams, please let me know. So far, I've got NVIDIA, LG, Intel, and Sony. So, yeah, so that's CES 2018. I'm not going to be there, obviously. I don't have the means to fly out there, but I'll be able to get a lot of info just from watching the live streams. But please, companies like LG and Samsung, please don't dwell on washing machines and refrigerators, please. Okay, so on to today's topic. So I started watching Game Explains what Nintendo needs to do in 2018 sort of videos. You know, it's kind of, they're doing multiple discussion videos talking about what they want to see in terms of the games, where the 3DS is going, and where they want to see come from Nintendo this year, and what games they think are coming out in 2018 or later than that. So I actually thought about doing my own, and it actually turns out there's actually quite a few things that I would like to see Nintendo do in 2018. Now, I'm not going to get into things that are like, oh, is the Nintendo 3DS going to die in 2018? Because honestly, I do want to see the 3DS continue at least in 2018. I know the Switch is now their main console, but at the same time, it would stink to see it go down. But I'm not really going to talk about it in depth. This is just kind of my sort of wish list, my own wish list of what they would like to do. So I got 6 things I would like them to do. So here we go. All right. So number 1 is get more third-party support for the Switch. Now, so far, the Switch's third-party support is sounding very promising. As you know, last holiday season, we got games like Doom, Rocket League, LA Noire, NBA 2K18. WWE 2K18 was a disaster from what I heard, but it was a good start in terms of Switch third-party support. It was definitely a surprise. I was very concerned that they wouldn't be able to get current generation games to run on Switch, but Doom proved me wrong. So yeah, so now I'm just hoping, because Doom runs really promising, and also Skyrim too, which you'll see gameplay footage right here. Skyrim, I like it. My sister's really getting into Skyrim. She's played 30 hours so far, which I know for Skyrim standards is barely scratching the surface, but she seems to be really getting into the game. She's more of the RPG gamer in my family, so yeah, it'd be really nice to see even more third-party games. And the fact that Doom and Skyrim came to Switch, I hope are bringing signs to third parties that, hey, we can bring our third party games too. The Switch is really popular and we can make tons more money. And so far, we've heard about games like Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, which I'll be getting. Games like Mega Man 11 and the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection are coming to Switch. But I would like to see even more games. Not many are coming to the top of my head so far, but I would like to see games like, the next Call of Duty, Battlefield, even GTA 5, which I heard that's rumored to be coming to Switch. I know there's a rumor saying that EA has announcements in the future Nintendo Direct, but we'll have to wait and see, especially since EA is in a really disastrous spot with the Star Wars Battlefront 2 fiasco and Anthem fiasco. Neither game, I'm hoping, comes to Switch, because if there's any third-party games that don't belong on Switch, it's probably going to be those two. So, yeah, and Bandai Namco, I think they had an event, and they were rumored to be bringing Dark Souls to Switch, but I didn't hear such an announcement. I'm still holding out hope, though, they can bring the entire trilogy to Switch. I'm not sure if I really want to play it knowing how hard the Dark Souls games are, but it would still be, really nice to have. And so, yeah, so given that we don't have too many third-party games, too many concrete third-party games announced, I can't really give a set wish list. But basically, I would like to see, aside from Wolfenstein 2, the more common games, common third-party games come to Switch. Like I said, the next Call of Duty. If Battlefield comes, I'll give it a chance. I know some people didn't like Battlefield 4, but, I think the Battlefield games, they interest me more than Call of Duty, so I would definitely play it on there. And so all those guys out there, because I know I have naysayers that say, oh, I don't buy Nintendo consoles to play third-party games. Just don't buy them. Okay, if you just want to play the Marios and the Zeldas, and if once in a while you'll go out and buy a third-party game, that's totally fine, okay? So just, if you don't want it, just don't buy it, okay? And it is really evident that Switch players do want to play third-party games. I mean, if you go to the Nintendo eShop, I'll have the image right up here. You'll see that Rocket League is actually the highest, the top-selling game on the Nintendo eShop, at least in America. And I know for a while, Skyrim was on that list, and I remember even like LA Noire and Doom were on that list. So I think it's really clear Switch gamers want to play third party, and I'm enjoying the third party games too. Like I said, I really like playing Doom. I like Skyrim. It's not really my cup of tea but that stems from the game itself. It's not that it's a third party game. So yeah, and like I said, my sister has been really digging Skyrim on Switch. So yes, there's a couple bugs, but that's Skyrim in a nutshell. A really good game. It's just really buggy at times. So, yeah, I really would like to see that third-party list continue to grow for Switch. So, and yes, the Nintendo franchises are really good games, but as evidenced by the Wii U era, those games aren't enough to boost sales. Which, speaking of Wii U, the other thing, moving on to idea number 2, advertise the Switch better. Now, yes, the Switch ads, as far as the frequency of ads, is definitely a lot better than it was with the Wii U. As for me, I feel like a lot more people saw the lack of Wii U ads more than me, mainly because I don't really watch TV. I saw more ads for the Wii U on things like social media. As for the Switch, I definitely see the ads on social media, and I've even seen it a couple times on TV. Like, I remember one time I was eating lunch at my college's cafeteria, and they had a Switch ad pop up on the screen. They were showing, I forgot what movie. I think it was like FX, and they were showing. They showed a Switch ad, so I thought that was pretty cool. And in truth, yes, I like these Switch ads. So far they are showing ads on social media and YouTube, and I've even seen ads that show the Switch versions of NBA 2K and Skyrim. But I would like to see Nintendo emphasize third-party games more. I mean, aside from those ads, and they really only mentioned Switch third-party support whenever the games are first announced. Like, I remember I was in my English class when they announced that Doom and Wolfenstein 2 were coming to Switch. After that, I didn't really see that much advertising for those games on Switch. So I would really like to see that, because what's going to get people to check out the Switch alongside Nintendo's great third-party games is that if they hear third-party games are coming, like if somebody was hesitant about buying a Switch because, yeah, I wanted to pick up Doom. I mean, I wanted to get a Switch, but the PS4 has Doom. Wait, there's Switch for Doom and it's actually pretty decent? And hell yeah, I'll get that for Switch, so I would like to see that. I also do like how the Switch ads, there are more Switch ads with young adult gamers than there are children gamers. Yes, I know they need to have ads that have kids with them, as well as showing the motion controls to appeal to kids, but I feel they could, put some more ads out with young adult gamers, So far, the Switch's ad efforts are good. They're definitely selling consoles now that the Switch has sold over 10 million units. But I feel like they could do a better job advertising to young adults, and also showing the third-party games, and also getting those ads out on TV more often. If I saw a Switch ad on FX, for instance, then they can definitely put ads on like ABC or NBC, So I would like to see that. And, I almost forgot to mention, one of the other things I do like about these Switch ads is that third-party companies are definitely pushing the hell out, even more than I expected, of their Switch versions of games. Like, I know during the holiday season, the Doom Twitter account really pushed the Switch version of Doom, and they even had a tweet saying, "Thanks to everybody who's bought Doom for Switch," and Bethesda, or actually not Bethesda, the Elder Scrolls account was also, they were pushing the Switch version of Skyrim, and they even had a contest where you can get I believe it was a skin for the Switch, a Skyrim themed, actually no, it was a Switch that had a Skyrim skin on the front. So yeah, I definitely like, and also Capcom was really advertising the Resident Evil Revelations collection for Switch. So third-party support is definitely there. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Nintendo that's pushing money into these third-party companies to advertise their Switch versions. But either way, it's going good, but I feel they can do a lot better as far as making their advertising more widespread and more appealing. So yeah. And also, moving on, idea number 3, continue to release Switch games on a regular basis. Which, that is one thing I gotta give so much credit to Nintendo for releasing Switch games on a regular basis. Not every month, but I understand, development time is needed, and we don't need an Assassin's Creed Unity situation on Switch where the games come out rushed and perform like shit. And so, because last year, Zelda Breath of the Wild, ARMS, Splatoon 2, and, Super Mario Odyssey, as well as many other games, came out on an almost monthly basis. In fact, towards the tail end of last year, all those third-party games, as well as the games like Super Mario Odyssey and Fire Emblem Warriors, came out on an almost, it felt like an almost weekly basis. Think about from the time that we got games like Skyrim, Doom, LA Noire, Super Mario Odyssey, and Fire Emblem Warriors, which the latter is crap, admittedly, but it's still, a Fire Emblem game. So, yeah, so I would maybe not on that frequency, since it was the holidays. It made sense to get them out on that hectic sort of a manner. But it would be nice if it continued at a pace like it is right now. So far, the games we know that are coming early this year, the first quarter of this year, are games like Bayonetta 1 and 2 and Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. So, and also, but it would be nice if, the time between the beginning of the year and the end of this year, that there will also be games saved up for like the spring and the summer, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping to see games like either Yoshi or the Yoshi or Kirby game comes out sometime in the summer. And there's other games that I'll mention later on, but it would be nice if it was more widespread, hence why the Switch needs more third-party support. Because looking back on the Wii U days, I remember the Wii U release schedule, you just really felt the drought in between games. I remember I didn't get to buy new games as often because they didn't come out nearly as often. It wasn't until later in the Wii U's life when the games releases got exciting, but in the middle of its lifespan, I just remember being in that sort of drought in between games. So, yeah, hopefully more games will be announced between the spring and the summer. I'm pretty sure there's games that haven't been announced yet that will be covered in things like Nintendo Direct and E3 and all sorts of other events that'll be announced. But I'll get into the other games I want to see later. So, moving on. Idea number 4. Fix the Nintendo Switch online app. Or even better, just build the app's features into the Switch itself. Now, for the sake of transparency, I will say I haven't used the Nintendo Switch Online app, mainly because the games that support it don't really interest me, like Splatoon 2, for instance. But if Nintendo is going to persist with that online app, as flawed as it is and as ridiculous as it is, that you have to use your phone instead of using the Switch itself, I'm hoping that they can announce that more games will support the Nintendo Switch Online app. Games like, Doom's multiplayer mode, for instance, can support it. And hell, even something like, if there is going to be a future Smash Brothers, if they can make it more explicit rather than just making a big deal about it when Splatoon 2 came out. So, yeah, not much more to say. I know the app has gotten better, but it's still... in terms of you don't need to keep your phone screen on to use it, but it would be nice if they could have just built it in. Admittedly, I wasn't against the idea of a smartphone app, but that was before it came out. Now that it's out, I'm kind of wishing why didn't they just build it into Switch, I heard Game Explain say they think the reason they built it into the phone is so that they can have ads on the phone. So like when you get a notification, they could promote new games using notifications, which honestly the Switch has Nintendo eShop and all those news app announcements. So I kind of feel that's kind of pointless. So yeah. So basically they're going to have to make the Switch online app, at least make it more widespread. When games like Doom comes out, when Doom came out for Switch, I wish they would have made ads where they said, hey, you can play with your friends using the, you can chat with your friends using the Nintendo Switch online app. Let me double check. Does Wolfenstein, if my phone decides to work today, see, Apple, that slowing down iPhone's thing is not working out too well. So, just to kind of take another jab at Apple, Wolfenstein 2 online. Oh, wait a minute, Wolfenstein 2 doesn't have multiplayer, I just remembered that. But, you get the idea. If they bring, like the next Call of Duty or the next Battlefield, I feel Nintendo should be really pushing their online app for those releases. So, idea number 5, and this is one that I know pretty much everybody wants to happen, and this needs to happen in 2018, and preferably sooner than later. Virtual Console needs to launch this year. You know, it's just, I just find it incredibly baffling that the Virtual Console came out for the Wii. I don't know about day one, but very close to the launch of the Wii. And with the Switch, here we are nearly a year after the console comes out. Yes, I know you can buy Neo Geo games and some of the arcade classics for Switch, but you can't buy like a good chunk of the NES and Super NES games on the Virtual Console. So yes, I know they're supposed to come out with a classic game selection where it's kind of like Netflix, where you pay the Nintendo Switch online monthly fee and then you can play all the games you want. So, hopefully that's going to launch in 2018. But I know that, myself included, a lot of other people want more than just the NES and Super NES games. People want to play the N64 games, Wii games, GameCube, Game Boy Advance, TurboGrafx 16, and Sega Genesis games. So I know that even if you pay, for instance, the $30 a year fee for the Nintendo Switch Online, I know that fee is not going to compensate for all those other platforms I just mentioned. So I'm hoping that not only does Nintendo launch their classic game selection, that Netflix like service where you stream classic games, but I also hope they bring, the Virtual Console store back. Maybe selling classic games on the Nintendo eShop, like what Nintendo was doing with their current eShops on the 3DS and Wii U, So, yeah, and also just like the Wii U, if somebody has, like I have Sin and Punishment for N64 on my Wii U, if somebody already owns that game, you can buy it at a discounted price. I'm even hoping that you could just re-download it for free. If you've already bought the game several times, you should just be able to download it again for free. So, yeah. So, basically, the gist of it, I'd like the classic game selection to launch this year. And also, Nintendo should bring back the traditional eShop where you bought games individually, And I know some people are going to scoff, oh, I have to buy each game one by one. Keep in mind, like the NES games are only $5 a pop, so I don't think that's going to be too big of a deal. Especially since if you pay the monthly fee for Nintendo Switch Online, $29 a year, that's $30 less than things like PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Online. So you've got money to spare. So yeah, there you go. And then, well, maybe not NES games since those should be on the classic game selection. But I mean games like, N64 games are like $10 a pop. And Sega Genesis games are like $8 a pop. So given that you have $30 to spend since you're not paying $60 like you are in Xbox Live, I think you've got money to spare. All right. So my last idea, this is kind of more of a selfish sort of a thing, but I feel a lot of you guys would also want this too. Idea number 6 is my game wish list. So games like Super Smash Bros. For Switch, I don't know if that's going to come out in 2018, knowing that Nintendo often delays the Super Smash Bros. Games, especially they did that with Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and they did that with Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U. So I'm hoping that they'll at least announce development this year, and also for release maybe in like 2020. And also, please don't just make Super Smash Bros. For Switch just Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Just for the Nintendo Switch. Because while I liked the Wii U game, alright, I did kind of find it a little bare bones since it just had, the classic mode and you can play online. I would like to see them bring back an adventure mode. Even something that's similar to the adventure mode that was in Super Smash Bros. Melee, which I know it's kind of quirky, but I really like the adventure mode in Melee. That would be really cool if they could do that. And as for, I know they took out the adventure mode in the latest Smash Brothers because with Brawl, people were uploading footage of the Subspace Emissary Online and so forth. But a lot of games do that, and they're able to still sell a ton of copies. So, a lot of gamers tend to do that with games when they do things like Let's Plays or even just straightforward playthroughs. So I'm hoping Nintendo can bring back some sort of adventure mode. And of course, I have other games listed here. Like I would love them to bring a WarioWare game for Switch. I haven't played a WarioWare game in a really long time. The last time was Smooth Moves for the original Wii, so it would be nice if they could do that. Animal Crossing for Switch. You know, of course, I like Animal Crossing okay, although I tend to stop playing that game after like a month. And also, Tamagotchi Life for Switch. I would keep playing the 3DS game, but since, you know, I moved on to Switch, I haven't been playing my 3DS nearly as much. And, you know, games like, I would even like them to bring like a Mario Strikers game to Switch. I thought Mario Strikers Charge on the Wii was a really cool one. So, yeah, that's kind of my, Nintendo Switch wishlist for 2018. So far, Nintendo right now is definitely doing a much better job with the Switch than the Wii U. I mean, just the fact that when Wii U was my main console, I barely played it. And, you know, as for me, there are days where I'm pretty much playing the Switch almost every day, and even on days where I don't, I really wished I could. So I think Nintendo definitely has a really good console going, but with these steps, they could make the Switch into an even more appealing product. So, alright guys, this has been Blood Moon Bobby, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, this has been a Blood Moon Bobby video. Please like this video or dislike it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.